Hey, this is Mike from Minimal 3DB, and today we're taking a look at the latest beta release for Orca Slicer. So let's go ahead and get started. This video is brought to you by PCBWay, an awesome prototyping service. I want to thank them for their sponsorship for this video. So last week I talked about the beta release 1, and now this is the second beta release. It includes bug fixes and some other minor improvements from beta 1, but then it also has several new cool features, one of which I really like and had missed from the days of using Cura. So one of the first improvements, and this is one I haven't really experienced, but at least looking at the animation, I can sort of make sense of what the problem is. They have made enhancements to when you're only using one wall as top surfaces, and if you look carefully, you'll see, particularly with the green here, that there are some artifacts left over on that top surface. But now with the new improvement, that eliminates those weird artifacts. Now, some of the other improvement is text scaling based on the bed size, and then also vertical support painting. Now, this is not a feature I really use, but again, for people that do use it, be very helpful. I also think it might be helpful in cases where you're printing something that's fairly skinny and really tall to help basically hold it steady. Now, the feature that I'm really excited about is this paint on mouse ears. This is a feature I used a lot, particularly when I was using Cura. So with that being said, let's take a quick look and see how this works and take a look at the settings. So let me switch over to Orca Slicer in the latest beta. So as you can see, I've loaded in a calibration cube. And if we look at the cube, sitting on the bed, and let's go over and take a look at this new support feature. So if we look under Brim type, we can select painted. Now nothing changes. If I hit slice plate, again, nothing changes, but there are now some new controls. If I click on the model, you'll notice there's a little Brim ears tool up here at the top. So I'm going to click on that, and I can play with how these are set up. I can auto-generate the points. So let's auto-generate. Well, that, again, pretty handy. Got each of the corners. I can select a point and then remove the selected point. Now, let's remove all of them. And if I want, I can now go in here and select a corner and just drop those in here. So again, pretty handy. And I also have some other controls up here. We can sort of look and see how those are set up and make some changes. Now, also, you can left click to add, right click to delete. So again, pretty handy. And I actually like this implementation a little bit better than I like what they had in Cura. And of course, when I did it with Cura, I was doing it via a plugin. So again, pretty handy feature here. And you just need to make sure you hit the button here when you add these in. So again, pretty neat stuff. Really, really like this feature, and this is something I'll probably start using a lot more often. I have a lot of trouble with brims, particularly I do a lot of print-in-place prints. I do some STEM events and give out little print-in-place models to kids, and I hate doing brims on any of those models, although some of them need it to help stick to the bed. And now with this gives me some better options, and these are going to be easier to remove than if I have to screw around with a brim around the whole thing. So again, pretty neat feature and something I really like. I would like to thank PCBWay for sponsoring this video. PCBWay is an awesome company that helps you fabricate the PCB parts you need. You can use their instant quote feature to design the specifications of your PCB board. You can upload a Gerber file and then receive an instant quote. I would like to highlight that this year is PCBWay's 11th anniversary, and to celebrate, they are doing the PCBWay 11th Badge Design Contest, and they're asking people, particularly if you're into 3D printing, create a badge that includes the number 11, PCBWay, and also their logo. They're looking for badges that are innovative, functional, and of course visually striking. If you take a look at the rules on their blog, they have some nice prizes, and also all entries will receive a free prototyping services valued at $50. So again, pretty cool stuff. The submission deadline is on April 30th, and the winner will be announced June 12th. And thanks again to PCBWay. So I've loaded my regular calibration cube back in, and I am just going to show the vertical support painting. So let's just click on this. Let's click on scale. I'm going to make sure it's unchecked for uniform scale. And let's just do this at 200. Or better yet, let's do 500. So that just makes a long, tall calibration cube. Now, to do the painting, we can just highlight it. And over here, I have support painting, so I'm going to paint this side. And what I've also discovered is we just need to go on over to support, turn on the tree support, hit slice, and there is my vertical support. Again, pretty handy feature. Not necessarily something I might use all the time, but still something I think could come in handy, particularly for these really tall prints I occasionally do that sometimes get a little wobbly, and this will help keep them a little steadier, maybe reduce Z-banding when that wobble's introduced. So again, these are the cool new features. Let's just look at the list again, just make sure we're not missing anything. There are some other, I guess, improvements. And as I mentioned, all sorts of miscellaneous improvements and things added in here. So again, pretty cool stuff. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below. If you get a chance to try the beta release, keep in mind it is beta. And then make sure if you do have any issues, you post it under issues on the GitHub so the developers are aware of any issues you found. Again, thank you. Have a good day.